This is a question and answer video. I'm going to go through comments that have been posted on my videos and I am going to answer with the correct answers. So the first question is, why is your graphics setting so low? I am using a laptop is the reason why. I have an HP Envy. It's actually a fast laptop. It has an 8550U processor. If you know, the pass mark is like 8,500. It's got a reasonably fast graphics card, which is the GeForce MX 150. I think it actually has two graphics cards, 16 gigs of RAM, but it's not a desktop. Desktops, you can choose to get better performance. If you want to, you can get a much faster graphics card. Nowadays, you can get a much faster desktop. I believe that my computer is now 2 years old. And the other reason why is because laptops, I've owned a lot of laptops that stopped working because the graphics chip would overheat. And I've literally had to go and have the graphics chip removed and replaced because I'm living in a third world country. It's not like the United States where they swap the boards. Over here, they pull the chip and replace the chip, and it's really cheap. But to conserve on it, it gets really hot. I got fans, I got everything. So to preserve it, also to improve my frame rate, which is around 120, I can play with the highest graphics, but for all the reasons that I explained below, I want to keep my laptop longer. So I play it with the lowest graphics setting, and sometimes the higher graphics settings kind of gets in your way. And I really don't want to keep on switching back and forth when I do replays, so that's the reason why. That's the short answer. Okay, do you have some codes for the WOT EU server? I recommend you go to a site like the Armored Patrol. There's also in the forums on some of the servers where people go and post all the codes that they can find. So look for that forum thread. There might be one on the EU server, there might be one on the NA server where they just go and post codes, or check Armored Patrol or some of the other sites. You sound like you have seizures every second. Uh, you might be referring to the fact that I have a small breathing problem. How to turn on auto aim? Can't find it in settings. The way you turn on the auto aim is you use the right mouse button. There's gonna be a setting where you can change it if you want to, but that is how it's done. You do have to be exactly within the outline of the vehicle. There's no leeway unless you are using a wheeled vehicle. There are mods that you can use to change the auto aim, which I believe allows you to select it a little bit better. But however, bear in mind, depending on what server you play on, the EU server might have different rules than the NA server in terms of whether or not you can use the mod to auto select for the auto aim to turn it on and off. Okay, here we have about the token mission to get a Panther M10, and you want to trade it in for a Skoda T27 because you don't have the gold. You can do missions almost every month to win free tanks. They didn't always do this, but it seems like they're doing a lot of them recently, the past year or so. The problem is that depending on what server you're on, the tanks are not available every month. I know that the Skoda T27 was available recently, and not only that, you can't do a trade-in for every vehicle. And not only that, when you do the trade-in, I believe your credit is only for half the gold. Or maybe you can only get a maximum of half the gold in trade and the remainder you have to purchase. So you have to keep an eye at the beginning of every month for the monthly announcements on the EU and NA server as to what vehicles are going to be available that month. The Skoda T27, if it's available, if it just came out, which it kind of did, don't be surprised if it's available a few times during the year. For example, you'll get a chance to win it for free, and then maybe it will be available at Christmas time, and there might be one other offer. But after that, once they've got new vehicles coming out by the end of the year, a year from now, you might not see that Skoda T27 again, or it might be a long time before you're able to get it. There are other vehicles that you can get that are similar to the Skoda T27. Unfortunately, I'm not going to go into that right now. Is there a benefit for receiving mastery badges other than one's own personal achievements? In general, no. However, there are campaign missions, for example, for the Excelsior or the Excalibur, where you have to get mastery badges, and you can win prizes if you do mastery badge missions, which might include things like equipment like coated optics and gun rammers and things like that. And it's a personal achievement. I have asked Wargaming to do campaign missions that are based on mastery badges and 3 marking tanks. And you know what? If it's a great idea, they're probably going to do it, and it is a great idea. They have put a ton of my ideas in the game. Okay, the game is not fun. World of Tanks is better. He's talking about World of Tanks Blitz. World of Tanks Blitz is actually a fun game. I do like playing it. At first, I really didn't like it, but now that I'm kind of getting the hang of it, the first 3 tiers, piece of cake. I've got 72% win rate in World of Tank Blitz. Once you get to the 4th tier, you're going to start getting up against real players. It's not going to be so easy. With the first 3 tiers, people are just wandering around and you get next to them and they don't shoot at you. With the 4th tier, they're better players. There's no seal clubbing in tiers 1, 2, and 3. I'm only on tier 4, so I can't tell you what it's going to be like in the higher tiers, but I'm really looking forward to it. The problem is that the maps are smaller, so if you have a slow tank, you're really going to have difficulty getting into the action. Okay, anything else? ELC is such a fun tank to play. I'm not sure. This might be the ELC even 90. It is, but the problem is ELC even 90 is a difficult tank to play. You're not going to do a lot of damage. It's not easy to drive. It's got great camo and it's got an autoloader. Everything else about the tank is bad. It got bad reviews. You can get good games with it in terms of spotting, but don't really expect it. It's not one of the top light tanks in the game. This is about Stronghold Crusader 2. Stronghold Crusader 2, if you don't know what it is, it's a great game if you like strategy games. Okay, what happened about global map campaign? There was a delay because of a DDoS attack on the servers, and they said it would be a 1-month delay, and there is a little bit of a compensation. When I'm moving, my auto aim just goes away when I track a tank. I'm going to guess he's not using the auto aim. That would sound like he's not using the auto aim. So the auto aim is better now. Make sure you turn on the crosshair for the auto aim. It makes it a lot easier. You sound exactly like Chris Hansen. Okay, so I announced that I am removing 6 cents from a lot of my tanks and people are laughing about it. I made the right decision. I removed 6 cents from a lot of my tier 8 tanks because I only play them in Frontline, and I'm putting in things like Call for Vengeance, and I'm removing 6 cents from all my wheeled vehicles. I really don't do any passive spotting, and with my light tanks, sometimes you do passive spotting, but in general, you don't need 6 cents on a city map. You don't need it with wheeled vehicles. You don't need it for Frontline. You don't need it for home front, even though we don't have that yet. You don't need it for the Rampage domination. So I remove 6 cents from a bunch of vehicles, and I'm trying to. Sometimes it's working out. I haven't fully decided if I would do it for every tank in the game yet. Good info, but I think you could prepare yourself more instead of reading on the go. The reason why I read it on the go is just to save time in terms of editing. Makes it a lot easier, and it does improve the quality of the video. Because if you don't know what codec because everything records with a different codec, it can take a lot longer to render if you don't have the right codec. And by the way, Kenneth Hansen, no relation to this other Hansen that was mentioned earlier. I'm sure you know who it was. When will Frontline start this year? It's not going to be in January. We're now into February, and it was not announced for February. They said that there would be less events in 2020. So don't expect 11 months of Frontline. It might be only 8 months. Very sad because Frontline is my favorite game, and of course, Homefront. The double barrels are in the game. There is an American double barrel tank, which I believe is called the Crocodile. Would you like to be YouTube friends? Thank you for posting about 100 times in my on my videos. Yes, I would like to be YouTube friends. I'm not an arrogant person who you have to have a high win rate or anything like that. I'll play if you're a new player and you just started playing, you can join my clan. We can play. It's no big deal. I'm playing to have fun. I don't care so much about stats. Your computer is a potato. This video was actually on an old computer. I upgraded my laptop since then. Okay, what do we got here? Okay, so my weekly news is quite popular. You can see this person is happy about that. You are bad, ranked battles, whatever. I actually did very well with ranked battles. Once I figured out how to level up, I was doing fine with ranked battles, and I made it to the 2nd division, but unfortunately I ran out of time. Really great autoloader through the stock grind. Not sure what he's talking about, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about autoloaders. In general, autoloaders tend to have weak guns. So if you're looking for high penetration, if you're a high penetration player, you're not going to be happy with the stock guns or with the regular rounds. You're going to want to get those. If you are the type of person that likes to free EXP through your guns, prioritize the autoloaders because the stock guns and the standard rounds are never going to be good penetration. So you can see that Trap Town has asked me many times to be YouTube friends. I did see it. Thank you, Trap Town, for manually taking the time to go through and post that message only on my posts and not throughout everywhere. Will they be giving emblems for New Year's? Usually, because emblems are easy to give away, they do give away lots of emblems. And don't forget, periodically go through your account and sell any emblems that you're not going to use that you won. You can't sell everything, but there's a depot button, and hit that depot button. It looks like a little garage. Hit the little image of the garage. It looks like a warehouse, and it shows you what you already have acquired. And look for the ones that don't have the thing that looks like a joystick, and you can sell those. You can get 10,000 silver. Okay, pushed into multiple tanks instead of reuniting with your team. I really don't take the game as seriously as other people do. Unless I'm working on a mission, I just play for fun, which means I'll try to go up against 2 or 3 tanks. I really don't care. But when I'm playing ranked battles, I really play seriously. And in a ranked battle, I'm not going to rush into multiple tanks. And I'll do a better job of keeping my team together, etc. I believe that this was because I was doing a damage blocked by armor mission is probably the reason why. Can we play a game together? Yes, we can. A lot of people obviously just say so as a joke, but yeah, I like playing with other people. I would love to play with people that are fast, light tank players that want to hunt and kill enemy tanks down. If you look, especially on Frontline, watch my Frontline games. And if you have missions you want to do and you want to work together on missions, I don't know if they do platoon missions anymore for the campaign missions. I don't know if they remove them all, but they used to have platoon missions. I don't mind playing with people. The only thing is I am in Asia, so you have to play at the same we have to play at the same time. I'm going to be playing for you at 5 a.m. or 8 a.m. So if you want to get up at 8 a.m. in the morning on the NA server and play, that's when I play. So fragments are just random discounts. Fragments are awesome. They're totally worth it. I have so many that I don't want to use them anymore because I got so many tanks leveled up that I don't have a reason to play the tanks. They are useful for the higher tier tanks. Make sure you save all of them. I've almost leveled up every tank in the game, so they're really not worth anything to me anymore. But you might enjoy them for a difficult branch. You cannot keep one eye on the minimap and one eye on the driving. This is what is referred to as figurative speech. Thank you. What would happen after I max the blueprints? When you max the blueprints, they become universal blueprints if you get more, and you can get the tank without EXP. However, don't do it 12 at a time. If you do it 12 at a time, but let's say you have 100,000 combat EXP, it will ignore your 100,000 combat EXP and will use up all your 12 blueprints, and then you'll have a ton of combat EXP that you can't use unless you pay gold. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you need one more EXP to research the tank, and but you have all the blueprints. If you use the blueprints, you just wasted your entirety of your EXP. So I advise you to do it one at a time, or to look at your EXP and calculate everything by hand and estimate how many blueprints you're going to need. This is here another explanation in text of how to do it. In terms of shards for the Christmas event, they're only used for the current year. You cannot use them for the future year. Unfortunately, I thought the event was going to end on January 16th or something like that. It ended up ending on like the 15th, so I lost all the shards that I was saving. So don't wait till the last day. It's really no big deal. Next year I'll get the camos. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, what do we got here? Cyclone Drive. Some vehicles, perhaps the Russians, catch on fire easily, and they have something called the Cyclone Drive, which either an enhancement to the engine or to the fuel that reduces the chance that you'll catch on fire. Wargame is going to nerf the HE rounds. At first I was against this, but now I understand the reasoning why. You can hit the commander's hatch at the top of the tank and set the engine on fire with an HE round. And I've done it before. Or you can hit the turret in the rear, the part that's sticking out, set the engine on fire. And the other issue is they're saying that in low tiers, HE rounds are useless. I don't use HE rounds in low tiers because they're useless. But if you watch my games, almost every tank I have half HE and half AP, no gold rounds, because they are useful in higher tiers. Okay, so someone is questioning about missing the point of sniping positions because of my sniping position videos. It's very easy. If I have a position where somebody could snipe from, get some sort of an advantage, and maybe the enemy doesn't know you're there, etc., that's the sniping position. It's a position in the game where you can fire at somebody where you might want to come back to that position at some point in the future. So that's what the point of my videos. But people miss the point of my sniping position videos. They think you're supposed to come over here and get amazing damage and amazing kills. My videos for sniping positions are about the position. It's not about how many kills you're going to get or damage. And often it's the first time I've ever played that position. It's just something I discovered and said, wow, if you see an enemy tank there, you can go here and you can hit them. So it's not about the strategy or the tactics. It's just about lining something up that I discover. It takes years to figure out how to master the position. Okay, someone is asking about War Thunder. I've never played it, and I'm going to be honest, I'm really not that interested in. You know what? Maybe I did. I know I played the planes. I don't remember playing the tanks. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just playing for fun. I'm not. I like the arcade style better than War Thunder, because okay, so like World of Warships is point and click, and that's it. There's no strategy until the end of the game for locating the enemy. You know where the enemy is going to be. You just sail in their direction and you find them. World of Tanks, you can do a lot more flanking, getting behind people. You can hide easily and come after someone and show up behind them. And War Thunder, you can't really. War Thunder, you can do things like that, but the War Thunder game is more about looking through the scope and identifying the tank, and it's a slower pace game. And I don't have the patience. I've got so many games that I could play, so not into that. Someone's complaining about the graphics again. If you are one of the top players, there's an advantage to playing without the graphics because you don't want it to slow you down. So Mudfish. This is a GPN, which is a game private network. They're worldwide. So you get this software and it reroutes your traffic. There's WT Fast, Mudfish. I don't remember all the other ones. And Outfox is another one. So it reroutes your traffic. Sometimes I saw improvement. In general, I would say no. So try it out if you want better performance. I have 240 millisecond ping time, and I've played with as much as 500. Having the GPN would have made a difference, but I'm not satisfied with it. Can you play the 279E on the test server? No. The reason why is because on the test server, in order to get that, you'd have to play through all the campaign missions to win it. Just like on the regular server, you can't just unlock it. Designated target. If a tank is spotted, it's spotted for your teammates. So designated target and Deadeye. You could easily get confused. Deadeye is to do extra damage. Designated target is for spotting damage. So in general, light tanks use designated target. Deadeye, heavy tanks. Medium tanks depends on your play style. I'm tier 3 puts me in tier 5 games I can't pen. What you do is you get to the side of the enemy or behind the enemy. That's the reason why I do it. Before, I was in a game once, it was with like a Tiger tank. I was the only tier 8. Everybody else was tier 9, and I was like, I can't deal with this anymore. I got to go up with 14 higher tier tanks. And I said, you know what? I'm going to try and get around the side. And I did it on mines, and I succeeded at doing it. And that's when I discovered the bush to the north of the town on the northeast on mines. And I started playing that position. Everybody plays it now. But I started flanking on all of my games, and I enjoy doing it. I don't do it considering kills and damage. I do it because it's more fun. If I had to do the brawling, I just wouldn't play the game. Okay, staying in the same position in higher tiers invites enemy SPGs to find you by tracers. That's true. It is possible. However, in general, people don't do it. The reason why is because there's usually so many targets to shoot at. You earn a bigger prize by going after enemy tanks. Enemy SPGs are not a big prize. You go after it if you've got a specific mission, if you've got nothing else to shoot at, if you just want to practice, if you want to be a little cocky, then I would do it. But in general, I don't worry about enemy SPGs, and I do keep on moving after every shot almost always, except for perhaps with the Lorraine Batchat 155-58 because it has an autoloader. Okay, someone has a question about stat padding. My win rate in World of Tanks is 49%, and in World of Tanks Blitz it's 72%. So go figure. I know you're going to say, World of Tanks Blitz isn't a real game. In Frontline, the object is to level up rather than win early. No. For you, it is because you're padding stats. You're trying to get a level. I always get the highest level. I've always gotten the highest level, regardless of how long the game is prolonged. And the reason why is because I play well. I often get general, and I use personal reserves every game, and I play well. I just play for fun. I always win all the prizes. So this is for people who are trying to get an edge, who can't get it just by playing normally. Just through normal gameplay, I level up. I don't need to try and extend the game by winning, by losing on purpose. In fact, I play Frontline primarily to level up my tier 8 tanks. However, I've almost leveled up every tank in the game, so it's going to get to the point where I'm going to be spamming gold and playing OP tanks, which I've never really done in Frontline, but that's what's going to happen because I have nothing else to do and I got tons of credits and I got tons of tanks. We don't have these maps on console. So I have a video where I went through all the maps on console. Console has like 8 to 10 maps that are not on World of Tanks PC. And I've heard that Asia has some unique maps, but I haven't found them yet. I will be playing on the Asia server soon, so we can find some games with those maps. And World of Tank Blitz definitely has maps. If you watch my Blitz games, I'm going to be getting more into the variety of the maps. You don't get general by defending first cap. You know what? I've been playing the game. I got general almost every game by defending caps. That's how I did it. So you can say all you want, not that way, but what you say so you should not do it is absolutely wrong. I got general 9 out of 10 times by defending caps and by capping. That's the way I did it. You either zoom out all the way or zoom in all the way, nothing in between. I guess you think that's funny. That is what I do. Zoom out all the way or zoom in all the way. I didn't know there was another option. Okay, why would you have Binox and Optics on the same tank? Because they don't stack. Because sometimes you do active spotting and sometimes you do passive spotting. That's the reason why. Okay, so I'm going to stop it at that. The future comments will come in a future video. If you have any questions or comments, please post below. And don't forget to post why I'm wrong in all of my answers. And don't forget to follow me on Twitch and subscribe to my YouTube channel.